Jai Bhim everyone. Wishing everybody a happy Dhammachakra Pravartan Din. If you look at the program sheet, you will realize that I am one partner short. This was supposed to be conducted by myself and Mr. Dhale. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it. So I would expect the audience to fill in for him. So let's make it interactive. So if you guys can help me with carrying out this talk, I would really appreciate it. Having said that, I am taking a look at the room around me and I request everybody just to fill in with what the capacity that we have today. And that is so satisfying, that is really so wonderful. Considering the fact, let me put it in perspective. A few generations back, we were not allowed entry into the village boundary. Within the village, forget about the national boundaries. And 2 generations or 3 generations later, here we are reaching international boundaries and congregating here and celebrating Dhammachakra Pravartan Din. So just take that into perspective, see, look at the journey where we have come, look at the progress we have made. Nitin very nicely explained how this whole journey started with we taking the Dhamma Diksha and then we made progress. And yes, there is more to achieve. But also let's take a pause and celebrate what we have achieved so far. Having said that, this journey really initiated 68 years back when our forefathers took the Dhamma Diksha and took that as the stepping stone into the upward mobility path of which we are a result as of today. And the name for that event is also very apt. It is called in Marathi Simon Logan, which means you are breaching the boundary. It was meant to indicate that you breached the boundary of Hindu religion and went into new religion. But we coming here on the international border and our ancestors a few generations back took that same plunge to come out of a religion which was holding them back and to come into emancipatory religion. It's a very good indicator, I would say, and we have to take it further from this point. Having said that, I will say one thing, that today's event is very, very special for the fact that we have been doing Dhammachakra Pravartan Din in the US. Ambedkar International Mission has been doing it for 25-30 years now. Today's event is so special because we have such a profound, such a profuse number of senior citizens today with us, which is such a privilege. Actually, it's a blessing. I counted and we are like 12 or 12 plus people from the senior generation, and these are the people who put the foundation in place for us to use that pathway, to use that, to use the emancipatory Buddhism that they adopted. They took a leap of faith about 68 years back, and that's what we are seeing today is the result of that. So I would request everybody to give a grand applause to all the senior citizens who are in this room. Thank you. Now, Buddhism has been the fuel of this emancipatory journey of which I spoke earlier and at the stage that we are. Let me segue into the topic of the day, which is reservation. If Buddhism is the fuel, then reservation, the policy of reservation, constitutional policy of reservation is the vehicle that is fueled by Buddhism. And like Nitin said rightfully, reservations were available for all the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe communities, but only those communities who combined reservation with the emancipatory path of Buddhism could make real progress. More progress even than the mainstream Indian the statistics from 2011. So we have to see this day, 68 years back, is what the foundation for our progress so far is. And the policy of reservation is what got us here. Reservation is it's a subject close to heart. We can never be dispassionate about it for the simple reason that it has been a vehicle for us to get here. May I ask the audience who all has benefited from reservation and who would actually credit reservation for them being here today? Let me ask the other way, anybody who doesn't feel like that. So, reservation is that important for us, but unfortunately, like Nitin mentioned earlier, reservation is under dire threat today. It has always had a turbulent and a disturbed, difficult existence since its inception, but in today's time, it is having an existential crisis. So before we reach to the Supreme Court verdict on those two issues, I would like to give a brief background of what reservation is and some of the nuances that I think are significant for understanding reservation and then understanding how those verdicts actually defeat the concept of reservation. So what is reservation? If you ask, you will get different opinions from people. That reservation is something that the Constitution gives us because our ancestors were really treated badly, and as a compensation to that, the Constitution provides us with some safeguards so that we can make progress and come into the mainstream. Others will say that it is a representation of the percentage of a community that exists within the society, and that representation has to happen at some level, so reservation ensures that. And so on and so forth. You will see various such valid and credible arguments in favor of reservation, which are all right. But I think the main reason we all have to understand why reservation is there is it is there to safeguard us or the communities which need that safeguard from discrimination. Had reservation not been there, let's look at the other way. Had reservation not been there, people who are meritorious among the scheduled castes or scheduled tribes who face discrimination within the society for millennia, for thousands of years, they would be denied any opportunity into jobs, into education, into business, into any walk of life. And that's what has been happening till reservation came into picture. So reservation is not to correct the past wrong, it is to make sure that the present itself is fair. So that's one thing we have to understand. Many times we are given to believe that reservation is a charity that people are just availing, and it's unfair because there are other communities who are also poor, so and so forth. So this is one of the important things I would like to everybody take away for reservation. It is not just for the wrongs that our forefathers faced, it is to make sure that the ground is a level playing field for us, our next generations. Many people argue that there are poor among the Brahmins of the upper caste, so why there should be reservation among the affluent within the scheduled caste community or scheduled tribe community? So reservation is to prevent you from discrimination. It's to give you a level playing field. Even if you earn all the money in the world, if you are a successful businessman, you are a bureaucrat at the top of the hierarchy, does the discrimination go away? Will an upper caste person marry into a family who has made this emancipatory, glorious journey through reservation? The answer is no. So the discrimination is still there, and reservation is required for that reason. Just be a minute. I made some notes I will refer. This is such a passionate subject that one can go on and on. Nitin, can you please time box me? Nitin or anybody? I can just get drifted away in this subject and not realize. So who gets reservation? Reservation is for those people or those communities, those sections of humanity who are prone to discrimination. Another fallacy that we find mostly when we discuss reservation, that it is caste-based. So it is not caste-based. Caste is a criteria which is used to identify the discriminated communities. The scheduled tribe reservation that we have is not caste-based. Scheduled tribes, they don't have caste, they have tribes. So that is another fallacy that we usually fall for, that it's a caste-based reservation. It's not. The other myth that we have about reservation is it is a limit of 10 years. So that is always something that the adversaries towards the reservation will tell us, that it was for 10 years and the politicians keep extending it just so that they get votes from the Dhale communities and they remain in power. In the Constitution, the 10-year limit is only for the political reservation. It's not there for the educational reservation, it's not there in the job reservation. By the way, reservation comes in three categories. One is for jobs, one is for education, and one is for political reason. I will not go into those details because we want to talk about the court verdict. Another fallacy for reservation is that with reservation merit gets compromised. Now I want to spend a few minutes things here, and I really would like everybody's attention on this one because it's very important. This is where we are made to feel guilty that you came on reservation with lower percentages and then you are not meritorious, but then people with better marks, they lag behind you and you move forward. Fact of the matter is that there was a research done by a German scientist with one Mr. Deshpande from Pune, and they came up with the conclusion that in the railways, the scheduled caste category folks were the most